Thank you for joining me today. My name is Jodeci Gonzalez, and I'll be presenting on digestive health disorders, correlating the perspectives of Maharishi, Ayurveda, and functional medicine. Throughout the presentation, we'll learn about the role of digestion in health and disease. We'll discuss the three main disease pathways in Maharishi Ayurveda and correlate them to the 8 disease pathways in functional medicine. And we'll find many similarities here and discuss how these digestive imbalances from both ends lead to disease. Ayurveda explains that the body is governed by our inner intelligence, and when this inner intelligence is expressed clearly, the body stays balanced. However, when it's disrupted, that's when disease begins. Digestion is the foundation of health, and it's important to remember this because digestion builds our tissues, it produces our energy, and it supports our immune function. And when digestion is functioning properly, the body is able to maintain balance and produce ojas, the support of our body's immunity and vitality. When digestion becomes impaired, it leads to the formation of ama, the undigested food particles that create toxins in our body, which is a contributing factor in disease. And this is how digestive imbalance connects to chronic disease, affecting our gut integrity, our immune functionality, and essentially it can lead to conditions like leaky gut, dysbiosis, and celiac disease. We'll find throughout the presentation that both Maharishi Ayurveda and functional medicine describe similar disease processes and how digestion plays a central role in both health as well as disease. And these imbalances are caused from a repeated disruption in our lifestyle, in our diet, as well as our environment. For example, chronic stress, it affects the gut-brain connection as well as digestion. Poor diet, including irregular eating habits, eating overly processed meals, eating many greasy foods, all of these weaken our digestion, as well as toxins, medications, and alcohol, disrupting the microbiome and gut functionality. Maharishi Ayurveda describes disease through 3 pathways, and that's through the doshas, Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. Through pulse diagnosis, we can recognize these patterns of imbalance that start to affect digestion as well as our physiology. So, when the doshas are balanced, digestion functions smoothly, and when they become imbalanced, there's different patterns of digestive disturbances that begin to rise. So, real quick, Vata governs movement and communication, and it includes the nervous system, and it influences the movement of our food. We see that through the subdoshas, Pranavata and Apanavata. Pranavata governs the communication between the body and the brain, and Apanavata governs the elimination and downward movement of digestion. So this is again another example of how we see this gut-brain axis being disturbed. Some of the imbalances or the symptoms that we might see when it comes to Vata being imbalanced is irregular digestion, bloating, dryness, and even constipation. Now, Pitta is so important. Pitta governs our transformation of food. It's responsible for the digestive fire, the digestive enzymes, the stomach acid, the metabolic processes, and breaking down of food. And when Pitta is imbalanced, we find heat, inflammation, liquefaction, all in the digestive tract, showing up as acid reflux or irritation. And Kapha governs the structure and protection, the lubrication in our body. It maintains our gut lining and supports the microbiome. When kapha is impaired or imbalanced, digestion becomes sluggish, heavy. We see an increase in mucus, so congestion, and we find more growths and accumulation of toxins. Now, understanding digestion is understanding the digestive fire or Agni. When Agni is strong, Digestion is efficient and our body produces ojas, our immunity and vitality. And when Agni becomes weak, this leads to the formation of Ama. And Ama is forming in our digestive tract. It's spreading into the tissues. It's disrupting our normal function and contributing to chronic disease. And understanding disease is understanding that it develops in stages. Ama forms at 3 different levels. So in our level 1 is the Jatar Agni. Food is not properly broken down, causing toxins in the GI tract. Level 2 is where Ama is in the Dhatu Agni, where our immune responses and inflammation begin to develop in their tissue level. And in the 3rd level is the Buddha Agni, where Ama's toxicity and oxidative stress affect deeper in our cellular level. And this leads to a progression where digestion becomes impaired. Ama accumulates. The gut lining and the microbiome are both disrupted. Our immune system becomes activated, and that's where we find chronic disease developing. The beauty is that functional medicine describes a similar process. It identifies pathways like inflammation, stress, toxins, nutrient deficiencies, all driving disease. And both systems focus on the root causes and explains how disease develops through specific pathways and how to restore balance in digestion. Functional medicine describes the 8 disease pathways as inflammation, oxidative stress, digestive and absorptive imbalances, nutrient deficiencies, toxin exposures, hormonal imbalance, stress, as well as structural issues. And here is where we clearly see the correlations between both systems. Vata relates to the nervous system regulation and stress responses. Pitta relates to inflammation in our digestive breakdown processes. Kapha relates to the gut microbiome and our overall buildup, where Ama correlates to the inflammation and toxic byproducts in the body. What we see here is that both systems describe disease as beginning in digestion and progressing systemically. In terms of treatment, Maharishi Ayurveda focuses on strengthening Agni, reducing Ama, and restoring balance in all of the doshas, Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. Where functional medicine focuses on addressing root causes through diet, lifestyle changes, reducing inflammation and toxins. Both approaches emphasize restoring digestive function to support overall health. Thank you for connecting with me today. I hope that this helped you learn a little bit more about digestive imbalances and the progression of disease. Thank you.